Oh no, I died right at the end.
Man.
Is this the first time? No, I fell out of a pit earlier. This is the first kind of skeleton death though, yeah.
Man, the after parties at E3 in the early 2000s, that must have been wild. Blue skeleton die.
So I brought up at the beginning Gene Wolfe as well, and I've yet to really rope him into this conversation. I'm going to do so now. As you can see, I'm trapped in the paradigm of MAXIMO, but within that paradigm, I'm learning to be a good gamer boy.
The best, truly.
As earlier when talking about Tolkien and on fairy tale and making things feel real, yeah, by presenting it as haptic consequence, it's real to me, but like, this is a very unrealistic game, obviously. If somebody were to operate as MAXIMO is in the real world, like, first off, there's not skeletons constantly running at you. They're not popping out of the ground doing that thing. Aw, damn it. Ghosts don't just show up and rob fairies from you.
Well, let's not speak to
You're right. Shout out to Otherworld, a very fun and interesting podcast. I'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, what a fun time.
But yeah, Maximo's ethics and his operations and his mechanics are in line with the logic and demands of his world. You can pull yourself up by your bootstraps in Maximo's world by Maximo's tools. The game's a closed system in that sense. This is also why like Dark Souls games aren't hard. This is why like I say Elden Ring's more a language than like a difficulty barrier. Like you just need to look at your spreadsheets and kind of tweak what you're doing and talk with the game and see what the ebb and flow yields.
I say keep trying the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, no, you learned the one thing and that's all.
Yeah.
That's basically Book of the New Sun. Severian, the protagonist of Book of the New Sun, is... He's a teenage boy who grows up in the future version of Catholic school, which is like Torturer's Academy. All he knows is torture. He's brought up with a very rigid set of just like, this is what the world is, this is how it works, this is the logic you feed in my system. Due to being a dumb gooner boy early on in his career, he gets exiled from his school and his academy and kind of just like kicked out into the world to roam. And the world of Book of the New Sun is extremely weird. Book of the New Sun takes place in the far future. It could be 1,000 years from now. It could be 100,000 years from now. There's hints that like the moon was colonized at some point.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's aliens that came down at some point and intermixed with humans, and so there's just other races and stuff around. But the thing is, all the people running around are very much like superstitious. They don't know what a computer is. That knowledge has been forgotten. Nobody knows what a spaceship like. They don't know how to build a spaceship, but like you can stumble across a spaceship out in the like wilderness and it would be just magic. Like teleporters are seen as magic mirrors. There's extreme disparity between the technological haves and the have-nots. And you can... Oh, there's a monitor. Actually, that's a bit loud. Can you turn the monitor off?
Let's see. Actually, here. Turn that down a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah. Thank you, headphones.
Chat, let us know if the audio is an issue. But you as the reader can discern from background details that it is the future and that this is technology that Severian and everyone else in the Book of New Sun is overlooking. But Severian's stuck in that gamer boy mindset. If MAXIMO were put into a dating sim, he wouldn't work. If you adhere to a constructed system of identity and then move that identity to a different construct, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be sad. You're going to be a little scared.
I don't understand.
Right. This is why I Saw the TV Glow is such a perfect movie. It is exactly about this. I'm doing very bad at this level. Maybe I should stop trying to talk and just kill.
Just gotta murder. You gotta get on your murder train.
Right, that's... Again, talking about conditioned states of the structure and identities and yada yada yada. They want me to be the knight. And I'm not being the knight. I'm being far too introspective. Getting hit by ghost.
I'm my next one. Does that conversation with the game system contend against the ostensible purpose of the RPG to play your own role?
Kinda. So, the issue I have with the RPG is like playing your own role is, I think, I don't know, in a narrative sense, I have more benefit when I'm struggling with a character. I don't like blank slate protagonists. I kind of like the friction of learning who I'm talking to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, discovering the character as opposed to creating a character from something from it.
Yeah, I talked about this with Capcom games and Mega Man X, where by learning like the character moveset, you become intimate with the character in a way that just like watching cutscenes about them doesn't create. Although I do love RPGs, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. Just like that style is not what you're typically going for as far as getting a character that you want to follow or get
is this gonna hurt me? I'm like, is this a... Nah.
Hey, not a mimic. We love that.
But yeah, Book of the New Sun's a great look at a character who doesn't even recognize there's other possible identity constructions despite the world being a wild chimera of chaos.
Love that.
It's also in a few ways very Final Fantasy feeling. It's a much more satirical and darker main character than any like Final Fantasy lead, which is far more whimsical. But like the use of like intermixing far future, ancient technology, it's been dead so long it's now fantasy, that kind of thing. It's very present in a lot of Squaresoft. And that's in part because of Yoshitaka Amano? I forget if that's Amano's first proper name for getting it. But he was the concept artist on the early Final Fantasies. He also did the covers to the Japanese publication of Book of the New Sun.
What's this? 3256. I saw a tech demo for a use case of an AI large language models in video games where you can speak to the characters and they understand anything you say and respond accordingly. Very Westworld. I've also seen that stuff, and I'm very half and half on that because there's some crazy stuff you can do with that.
Yeah, I just don't engage with video games on that level. As we go through the stream, and probably even on this session, you can tell I like the kind of curated, narrative, guided experience.
I love aimlessly going off and doing whatever the hell. Like, I would get sucked into Skyrim and all of the B storylines and just, like, whatever was not the main quest.
See, and I kind of want to have you play some of that kind of stuff because it's a different type of engagement than, like, what I have with...
Alright.
I always want to play Rockstar games, and then I start playing them and I'm like, I don't like the feel of this.
Yeah. I think Rockstar Online is much more interesting.
Right, because it's more like a petri dish and just like, well, what's going to develop and happen?
Yeah.
All right, gang, I need a lock-in.
Go lock in, it's gonna happen. Let's see. It's kind of cool, but it defeats the purpose a story in a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are a couple of people using large language models to like help develop some story things, and like there is something that's kind of interesting in being able to like come up with a quote-unquote AI character inside of a game and have conversation with. Like with Skyrim, that kind of makes sense because you can have like, I don't know, people can interact with that on like hours and hours basis, but it's not necessarily going to work for something like this. Like, I don't think MAXIMO needs to talk with each skeleton. It needs to have like a conversation about like what that skeleton does in this world that will like enhance the experience.
Yeah, I think if I'm looking for like engagement with like an organic or naturalistic like personality picture, I'm thinking more literature or a book or something where I can just kind of like soak with the character. Because the depth of a Skyrim NPC is going to be limited by just like the depth of the world of Skyrim.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
I don't know if there's necessarily anything of perspective to gain. Although that does sound like a very vulture-y kind of like, art has to have exact value.
Every time. How else can we sell to a consumer? Gotta put a price on it.
Well, like, isn't the thing with AIs, they frantically haven't figured out a way to sell it?
Yeah, it's best. It's gonna fucking burn everything. It's great. And it's also copyright, but we're not allowed to copyright.
Right. Even if there was like fundamental fixes to the environmental side, what about the theft side?
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I think most people are okay with like AI, like diagnosing cancer early onset and like doing things that like seems that humans aren't very good at. But we can make art. We're really good about that. We don't need that.
Yeah, we want the robots to do the work so that we can do the creative stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like that whole debate on people being like, but the robots are going to take my jobs. Yeah, that's why we built robots. We don't want to do jobs. We want robots to do the jobs.
Doug Stanhope had a bit where he's like, I want more unemployment. Nobody has a job. Everybody gets to be free.
That sounds wonderful. God, $20,000 a month for OpenAI trying to sell a PhD level research model. Like, why do that when you can just trick the IA into doing that for you, or the AI?
Also, just the proliferation of AI is short-term for it when it's like there's several different like things you can call AI.
Yeah. Let's see, Soyboy69. I'm pretty happy with all the new open source models that can run locally. Yeah, that's been super interesting. I've seen some people running like a DeepSeek off of like a Raspberry Pi plus like an external graphics thing, and that was really interesting, being able to have like your own contained AI. I like that free model. I like that DeepSeek just kind of came in and was like, oh, we can do this for $6 million as opposed to billions of dollars.
What
that was
am I doing wrong? What can I do more efficiently? How can I be a better protagonist today?
Like in most games, more murder. Oh, murder, more murder.
I'm not using my little boomerang show.
Oh, you should definitely be doing that bad boy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I've been underutilizing my powers.
Yeah, we need that. I've been hiding it, waiting. Almost 2 hours into the stream, we're finally revealing your true power to build up the story of Maximo.
Like Severian, I only know cut and chop. And run from my own bullshit.
And it works for 90% of instances, you know?
It's the game's fault, not mine.
Truly. It's trained you. It's taught you the language.
Guided by ghosts. Earlier I mentioned the podcast Otherworld. Very great series of interviews with, even if the host is skeptical, he finds subjects to talk to that seem very sincere about their beliefs.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. Like, whether the experience is true or not, for the person who had it, it is very real, and like that is a whole other.
Even if it like quote unquote didn't happen, like there's usually a very clear emotional catharsis or conflict within the subject.
Yeah.
Wait, I killed. What am I looking at? I'm going blind.
I mean, sure. OpenAI is getting $500 billion from the federal government regardless of DeepSeek. I mean, absolutely. The government can put as many O's behind anything they want. Like.
But I thought we were being extremely inefficient and fraudulent and needed to ease things up or clean things up.
Yeah,
hey man, those children can't have a school.
Yeah,
we're wasting money.
We got to defund everything that makes life worth living.
What are you talking about, though? We're getting burrito payment plans.
Yeah, dude, I'm only 3 more payments until I can start getting my next guac. It's great.
Oh man. Where are the options on Greek food?
Man, if it's anything like that one Greek place, it's just always free.
Oh man.
Delicious Greek food, I love that. Okay, out of this guy.
Yeah. What if I don't fight? What if I just...
Can you throwing a shield stop those axes or like bounce them back or something?
That is a good consideration to play with. Jacob, you're thinking like a gamer. And I'm dying.
Oh, damn. I was almost gonna save that. Almost.
Almost.
Go back to life.
So I've died several times so far. Would I consider this a hard game? Should I consider this a hard game?
Does this game have difficulty levels?
No, I just kind of started.
Nice. Just go.
I mean, it hasn't stabbed me. I'm not in pain. I'm kind of chuckling along with it.
Get yourself a roof over your head.
But I thought video games were insurmountable and inscrutable and esoteric. And if you beat them, that means you were like CEO-brained and capable of great works of genius.
Apple announced they're using $500 billion of their own money for AI R&D. $500 billion seems to be the techno-feudalist golden number. They really do. It's just line go up. Just whatever sounds like a bigger number than the last time we talked about a big number. Like what is $500 billion? That means nothing to me.
Yeah, you get to a point of scale where you're just like, so you're not going to feed a village?
Again, people are financing burritos and we're like, yeah, but we need $500 billion to like...
Well, Jacob, when you finance burritos, you generate interest on them and it creates profit for the profit cycle.
That's right, I forgot the lesson from the big
And then we're supposed to all win or something if we have stock in the stock market, which... What percent of Americans have that?
Dude, the important ones.
Can you actually look that up? I'm curious.
Let's see, what percentage of Americans have stocks?
I know a lot of people are hurting right now with their 401ks and the dip in the market. And why is my square button not working? Or am I just being slow and blaming the controller? It is a practice of self-scrutiny. Which...
All right, according to Google's AI overview, in 2024, 62% of U.S. adults own stock either directly or through mutual funds.
Okay, I thought it was like 40%. The AI might just give us the inverse, but yeah. The percent of Americans that like politicians actually care about because line go up. All right, I'm just gonna run past these axe guys. Yeah.
Dude, I used to work for Silicon Valley and I didn't make a living wage with no work-life balance. Oh yeah, no, you trade your life for the money. That's the conceit. 60%, I think it's time retirement accounts. Man, that's a really good call, D. Hamill's Mammal. That's a great one. That's a great name. Yeah, 64%. I'm honestly surprised. But also how many people are like auto-enrolled in like 401ks or
Sure.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
That's the other thing.
You know, like the active people participating versus people who are just like, well, I have a retirement fund because my company has me have one.
And the general transition away from like pensions and other means of stable retirement to like stock-based options in a 401k.
Yeah, we don't need that. Only cops need pensions. No one needs that.
Do cops still have pensions?
Oh yeah, you know it.
Okay, that may vary from place to place. I'd be curious to look into who still has pensions versus who's been converted to 401ks.
I know all of those places really love their pensions. And if there's one thing cops love, it's money. And they will definitely do anything to keep that going. For serving and protecting us, of course.
Yes.
A very, very hard job. Ooh, smack it.
Oh, good thing I just started throwing my shield because there's a bunch of skeletons after me. Just off camera.
Bonk him on the head. Bunk that focus.
Okay, I need to, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I got like the spikes on it now.
Oh damn, yeah, I didn't even see the spikes. This fucking dude coming out of nowhere, fuck you.
Oh, I got hit, but level's done.
Alright. What is your level mastery?
Thank you, D Hamel Mammal. D Hamel
2%?
Mammal.
The Hamel's memo. Love it.